we do like to get you to do a little spot like, hey, this is Parry Shen, and you're listening to the Dave and Creech Show.
Yeah. Hey, this is Parry. Now? Yeah?
Oh, wait, not now.
Okay.
Creech, you can tell him when. Go ahead, Creech. Tell him when.
You're good to go.
No. I meant you tell him. Well, are you talking to me or him?
Very.
Parry? You want Parry to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you tell Parry to go then, and I'll be quiet. Okay?
You're good to go, Parry.
Okay. Wait. No. I thought you were going to say Parry, you're good to go. Because when you said good to go, I thought that was me again. And then you said Parry afterwards. So go ahead and, look at your recorder, make sure it's going. Parry, you're good to go, and I'll be quiet. Okay, you ready, Parry?
I'm ready.
Okay, no. He's going to cue you. Creech is going to cue you.
See what I have to deal with here?
Okay? Parry, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Parry's ready. Creech, you cue him. I'm going to be quiet. Go ahead.
Perry, you're good to go.
Oh, I just want to make sure. Hold on. Wait. Parry, you remember what you're saying, right?
I do.
What are you going to say? Go ahead and just let me hear it.
It's going to be a secret.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, well, thanks. I thought I was doing this directly. Okay, go ahead, Creech.
Perry, you're good to go.
You're listening to the Creech Show. This is Parry Shen.
Perfect.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey, welcome back, guys, to the second episode of 2018. We've got Dave Sheridan again. This is 2 podcasts in a row, so we are definitely racking up on those Dave Sheridan appearances on the Dave and Creech Show. As usual, it is me, CJ Creech, and we are here once again, second time in a row of 2018, Mr. Dave Sheridan.
Oh, man, we're making a habit of this now. You know what I'm saying? This has been a great 2018 start. I mean, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and I've got that film, Victor Crowley, out, and we've had some phenomenal guests on the podcast so far. So it's starting out well, and I'm excited. Who's going to be on the show this week? Because I know it's another guest from my movie, Victor Crowley, available on VOD and everywhere else right now. Who do we have? Because I forget.
This week it is the sole survivor from Hatchet 3, Mr. Andrew Young, a.k.a. Parry Shen, is in the house. We're actually on the phone, and we will be chatting with him today for sure.
Yeah, I sometimes call him Parry Young or Andrew Shen because it's hard to separate the two of them. He really is his character in many ways when you hang out with him. So, and I don't like to hang out with him in person too much because I feel like there is somebody that's going to go kill a bunch of people he's hanging out with. That must just happen to him every day in his life. So, and we're going to find out about that right now. Go ahead, Creech, get him on the phone and let's talk to Parry. Parry, welcome to the Dave and Creech Show.
Thank you for having me.
We're on with Parry Shen from pretty much every Hatchet movie ever made. And what's some of your other notable credits, Parry?
Let's see. I mean, I've kind of done the gamut. I've done some video games, Sleeping Dogs, Walking Dead Michonne, Mortal Kombat X, and then been on like NCIS LA, and right now I'm on General Hospital. Been on for the past 5 years. So I mean, every kind of medium. Yeah.
No, but there's a big film that you're known for. What's the other one?
Better Luck Tomorrow is kind of
there. You go.
Put me on the map, so to speak. I guess it was came out in 2003, and it was like a Sundance darling. We made it for $250,000 and got picked up by MTV Films and Paramount. And all Asian American cast, and we were #1 in the box office when we came out. And yeah, so that was kind of like a big deal.
You're so funny, man. You leave off like, oh, the film that was #1 in the box office. I thought you wanted my video game voice. Yeah.
I mean, it was 15 years ago, so I mean.
You haven't aged a bit, though, so what's it matter? You know, for you, I know for you it feels like 15 years ago, but you can pretty much tell people, that was yesterday. Yeah, I shot that yesterday.
That's true, and the crazy thing is that with all these reboots of TV shows, like all my old credits from like they're rebooting all these old shows of shows I did back in the early, the late 90s, I can put back on my resume because they just think I'm, part of that show again.
Yeah, they think you're active. Right, exactly. Eventually, that's a good point. Like, I wish I was like in, the original Lost in Space, and when they make the Lost in Space remake, and I think there's a Lost in Space coming out on Netflix now, like a J.J. Abrams style Lost in Space, a Star Trek type of contemporary reboot. But it'd be funny if you were on Lost in Space in 65, you're like, yeah, I'm finally back. I can finally, kind of get into, like they audition, the casting directors bring you in, and you're like 70 years old, and like, wait, you're on Lost in Space? Someone CBS's Lost in Space, the City Marty Krofft one, or whoever put it out.
Exactly, yeah. When 90210 came out again, I was like, sweet, I can put that back on my resume.
Yeah, guy standing by me. Were you the one high school kid saying, don't get in the car, you're too drunk to drive?
Kind of. I was opposite Laura Layton, and I was giving her she's just getting some, help from the state, and she was just using it to cash out and not buy any books at all. She says, I'll just take the full check, and I'm like, oh, okay. And that was my scene.
Nice. Well, to go back to Better Luck Tomorrow. So is Roger Pan's in that, right?
Yes, that's right. You guys both did a Corky, right?
Yeah, Corky Romano.
Yeah.
Because that was, I think it was shortly after we did Corky that's how I know about that film, because I was just kind of keeping track of what people were doing, and it was like, oh shit, Roger got a big movie,
Yeah.
If you haven't checked that film out, whoever's out there, I would definitely check it out, because there's not a lot of that. That should be something you should be proud of, because it definitely was. I wouldn't say anomaly is not the right word, but it's a rarity to get something out there like that's released in a box office.
Right.
Shot independently, and it's like you're saying, with an all-Asian cast.
Yeah, and I remember when the numbers first came out, I remember the president of MTV Films called me to congratulate me. It was Van Toffler.
Oh, yeah, Van Toffler.
Yep. And he's like, congratulations, just to let you know, this having a #1 movie in the country, it's rare. And he says, not just because it's you guys, but for anybody, really. So enjoy the moment, and that was just a really cool moment. I mean, literally, this was such a shoestring budget. I mean, we were hardly getting paid anything, but I mean, and my agents were like cursing me out because it was during pilot season, and I was just turning everything down. I'm like, guys, I can't do this. I'm like I'm the lead character. I can't screw them over. And they're like, are you even getting paid for this? I'm like, guys, you don't understand. I'd already been acting 6 years prior, and like all the roles are kind of the same. The translator guy, the martial arts guy, and I'm like, this is something different. Like, I start on page 1 of this script. I don't have to dig to like page 50, and that's where I come in. I was like, guys, I've been waiting for this. This is why I took acting classes. To do something like this. And then, you get your shot, and then you have all these hopes with any project you go into, and then we just kept on reaching, it kept on, going higher and higher, and then people in Hollywood started noticing, and then my IMDb star meter started, going down, which is a good thing.
Down. The numbers going down, which is more like going towards the top. Right?
Yeah, 1 is good, 200,000, not so great. So.
Creech, I think you might be better than 200,000, Creech. We're going to talk about your little escapades after we're done talking with Parry, but that's, Parry, one of the things I thought about when you were mentioning all that was like, man, topical. Like, look, #1 movie in the box office over the weekend, that's a rarity. That only happens 52 times a year. That only happens once a week. That's a rarity. That only happens once a week. It's like, okay, dude, that's stating the obvious. Like, there is a #1 movie once a week. I hate to tell you that, man. No, it's not that.
Right, only 50. Yeah, that's true.
But the best part is your agent's going like, this movie, there's no budget. You're not getting paid anything. What are you doing? And you're
exactly,
like,
which I totally get, right? I mean, because most independent films like this don't go anywhere.
But the irony is that they're like, what are you doing with your career? And you're like, this is the future of film. Like,
right.
We don't get paid. Like you're actually like, I guess they had it right. You screwed us all, dude. Thank you. But I'm like, oh wait. There could be a low-budget movie with we don't pay the actors that can make money in the box office and be #1.
That's right.
Parry Shen is blamed for the model of all the atrocities on the actors. Thank you.
You know what? I didn't even think about that, and now I'm ashamed.
You should be, but I got it on my podcast. Yeah, so Parry, Creech is located in Charleston. So we've done this podcast for a little over a year, maybe a year and a half. I don't even know. But we
2
don't
years.
do it. I've been so busy, it's not really on a regular basis. It's probably really 1 year, Creech, if you really factor in how much I haven't been on.
Episode-wise, it's been about, we've got about 52. So, yeah.
Our listeners probably think I'm just like in a hospice somewhere or something because Creech has basically done a Dave and Creech show by himself for like a half a year, and there's been guest hosts. Hey, Parry, let us know if you want to guest host with Creech ever. You let us know you want to get out.
Is it because you didn't have the call-in number? You've been trying this entire time?
Yeah, Creech doesn't give it to me. He gets more airtime when I'm not.
You're like, God damn it!
I finally figured if I book some of my friends, they'll actually give me the call-in number, so it's all going to work out. So here's the thing. Let's we're going to take you back now. Parry Shen, what's your origins? Where were you born, Parry?
Queens, New York.
Yeah, and then when did you come out to what got you out to Los Angeles?
I was in college and at SUNY Buffalo, State University of New York at Buffalo. I was a business major, and I just found it all incredibly boring. And everyone that I would, like alumni, would come back and they'd be like, "Oh man, I'm trapped now. I've got married, I've got a pension, and these people were like, very young still, and they were already feeling trapped at a very young age." And I'm like, oh my God. And so I decided as soon as I graduated, I was gonna if I was gonna do something quote unquote unpractical, I would have to do it now. So as soon as I graduated, I wanted to do film and television. And I had been doing it on the side. I'd enter talent shows and stuff like that, and we would write my own stuff and cast my friends and things in little, video productions. But it was I didn't major in it by any means. It was all like instinctual stuff. I didn't have any formal training. So when I came out to LA,
I could tell by the way. Go ahead.
Hey, not a day acting classes. I kind of treated it like a business. And just started, getting formal training. I started listening to, the Oscar speeches, people who would thank their acting coaches. I would write those down and study with them. And I kind of got like a huge crash course of kind of, probably in hindsight, not so great because all the techniques are so different that I was having a lot of conflicting things. I joined the Groundlings, and then I got like Meisner training and then Uta Hagen training. I mean, they're all very different, but this was like a huge crash course, and I was just like a sponge. So basically did that for a couple of years, and then got an agent and slowly started booking commercials and then a guest star on a TV show and then a movie, and it just started snowballing, and then did that for 6 years, and then Better Luck Tomorrow came along, and then that sort of took things off a little bit. Then my name started getting around a bit.
Okay, really quick, just two questions on that little story. One is, from landing in Los Angeles, and you're doing your, kind of getting your feet on the ground, taking some classes, meeting people. soon was it before you actually got a paycheck? Were you fairly fortunate? It was 6 months, 3 months?
No, it was about. Does extra work count? Because I started doing extra work to get my SAG card. Because I knew that's how I could justify all the credits that I had that I lied about. I'm like, how can you say you were on Seinfeld if you don't even have a SAG card? So I'm like, I got to get my SAG card first. But my actual paying gig, I would say it was probably like a year and a half.
Okay, not bad. Not bad. That's not
bad. It was
bad.
a commercial. Yeah.
Yeah, and commercials are hard to come by. It's not an easy business, man. And the other thing about this podcast is, I think the people who listen to us are inquisitive people. Like, there are people that are into filmmaking, because we do talk about a lot of this kind of stuff. We talk about the process and how we get to things, and how it's not so much about, okay, tell me about Victor Crowley. I can go watch the movie. Everyone go out and watch Victor Crowley. I'm going to get to in a moment. But so I tell people on this podcast, it's a business, first of all, and it's hard. Yeah. And a lot of people come out and think that it can ruin a lot of lives. So you really got to be passionate about it. And it's kind of interesting that you didn't take any, like in high school, were you involved in school plays in high school or talent shows?
I was too chicken. I honestly, it was more, I think, that I didn't see anybody that was like me on film and television doing it. So there's no precedent. Like, all my favorite actors weren't Asian, because I mean there was hardly anybody, and it was like an event when there was an Asian person on television. You're like, oh my gosh, there's an Asian person on television. It was like such a huge thing, and I think that subconsciously kind of made me. I would always attend all the plays and productions and I watch my friends and kind of be jealous, but I never had the guts to do it, even though I would, we would joke around, and I'd be able to, like, write things and then hold my own with them when we're just having fun. But to actually get up in a formal production, I was kind of like really scared. And I kind of only did it in college on the side, as they say, writing my own stuff and doing talent shows, but not doing, I'm like, I can't take an acting class. Those are for real actors, who are going to do this as a career. And then when it came time for push and shove, when I was I had taken a lot of, I was trying to fast track college and just took a ton of credits. And by the time I was in my junior year, I technically had enough credits to graduate as a junior. And that kind of like a wake up call. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be in the real world right now. And then my mom was.
And you also thought, I am Asian. Holy crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Graduated college.
And that's when my senior year, my mom was gonna, she was gonna handle 4 years of college, and that was like she promised she'd do that. And so I basically had my senior year to kind of go through the catalog and all those classes that I always had looked and said, oh, I wish I would have taken that course. I could, because I was technically done, and I was just, it was like video production, took, some intro, like improv and stuff like that, and I had the best time. I was the president of my business fraternity, but I was taking no business classes at all because I was done already, and I was taking all theater stuff, and it was so much fun.
That first of all, I'm going to steal your story as a movie. You should write that as a movie. There is a cool movie there. And I'll talk to you later about it.
Okay.
I do envision you putting on some Wayfarer sunglasses, being like, Ben, yes, he's up in that college senior year, like, I'm already graduated.
Yep.
But I'm gonna take it. Always wanted to take lady studies.
Exactly.
Female anatomy 101.
Yep. Hey, do whatever I want.
I already have my business degree.
Yep. I'm gonna fail this class on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think so. I'm calling the professor Teach. I don't think so, Teach. What, you? Funny. So the other question I had about your LA, origins was, you mentioned a couple acting styles. One was Meisner. I'm sort of familiar with that. I know the growling very well. I come from the Second City, so improv is really my.
Yeah.
I've never studied formally on any of the other forms, but you mentioned another one. What was that one?
Uta Hagen.
Okay. I thought that was a yogurt, but okay. So
Yeah, it is not.
Okay.
But she's kind of yeah, she goes back to the days of like at the HB Studios where Brando was in New York, and kind of so that's it's kind of that like method, quote unquote, acting.
So it's method. It's method. I mean, what's the so Meisner is what, like a repetition of
they
choices?
It's I mean, that's kind of like the initial thing when you do Meisner, but you get really interesting results, you know, because before in the beginning they make you literally, you just repeat what the other person's saying, and you only change it when you notice physical behavior, and then that's when you can organically listen and giving and taking, and actually the kind of the best master classes of like acting I've seen has come from Meisner, because they start from that basis of just listening, and you don't react unless it's motivated, and you know.
Now that same technique, really quick, that is an improv technique. I wouldn't say it's a game, but it's an exercise. We did that is definitely an improv exercise.
No, totally, yes.
The one where you stand around the circle and you say something in a way, and it transforms by the time it comes back to you. You know, that's just adding 15 people to the same experience of the back and forth.
Absolutely.
You just don't get as much back and forth. But yeah, that's cool. I didn't know what that one was, Uda Hagen. So she's really a teacher. Like, did you actually study with her then?
I studied with a lot of her like top students, but she would come in every once in a while from New York to give like guest speeches to like lectures to like 300 people, because everybody knew who she was, and she rarely makes appearances anymore.
Right.
And she I mean, she's passed away since, but yeah, it's that technique sort of kind of just helps. I spoke the most to me. That's the one I stole the most from. I stole a little bit from everybody, every technique.
Sure.
Made it my own, but for the most, my basis is the Coggins stuff.
Got it. The one technique I did take Leslie Kahn. You know, have you ever studied with Leslie Kahn?
Yeah.
So
he's good.
I think it was during audition season, you know, like pilot season, and they were like, go take a pilot audition course, you know, you know, sitcom stuff. And the one thing I really got out of her, because I already had comedy chops, so I already understood reversals, and, you know, just coming from second theater, I understood the tools of comedy. I understood that. But the one I got from her was like, there's always an intention and a thought to every line, even outside of what the line says. You know what I'm saying? The character is thinking something else, or there's a reason why he's saying it, and like, what is he really saying inside his head, kind of thing. So I really like that one. I like that really helps with those, you know, interior eye things, and what else are you doing, you know, like sort of staring through somebody kind of thing. So
you know what really helped me in the beginning also was Michael Caine. You ever seen his video of like acting for the camera?
No, I need to. Is that on YouTube? Probably.
Dude, it's on YouTube by now. Yeah, I've seen it. I'm gonna watch it. It is really good. I remember the first like 5 years, before I would start a film, I would always watch it just to get like a refresher. And he's just teaching you like mechanics. You know, he expects everyone to already know how to act. It's more like framing up and looking, when you're in a close-up, looking at someone's eye that's closest to the camera to frame you up just a little bit better. I mean, it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out. That's a good little technique to make sure. Like, it's more like you've done a lot of work. You've studied all your life for this, and now you finally made it. Hi, I'm Michael Caine, and I'm not going to do his accent or whatever, but it's like, now make the most of it. It's like, I'm going to make you look as good as
he does this one thing where lots of people are taken out of context, but like, he says blinking. He says, if you blink, and he blinks, he's like, it makes you weaker. See, I'm weaker. But if I'm opening my eyes like this, you're going to be listening to everything I'm saying. And it's like, holy cow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, there are two things that I work on that I don't work on, and I've seen it on myself. But I remember watching Charles in Charge. I swear to God, not Charles in Large, which is currently what's happening in the news. Yeah. As he said to Nicole, "Baby, sit on this." Charles in Large. No, but there was the other girl on Charles in Charge. Do you remember Charles in Charge?
Yeah, Josie Davis.
Yeah, probably the taller one, right?
Yeah, the older, the sister, the taller sister. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I'm not trying to say anything negative. I love that show, and I hope she's doing great. I don't know what she's up to, but she blinked a lot, right? When she said her lines.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid watching that show, it was like every time she spoke, she was blinking. But then when she didn't speak, she wasn't blinking, and it threw me off. I go, I can't blink. I don't want to be the actor that blinks while they're saying their lines.
Right, you picked up on it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I noticed a lot of people do it because it's just a thing. You're moving your mouth, but therefore you're blinking. You know what I mean?
Right,
like
yeah.
Thing. But I always saw it as like you're not being truthful if you're blinking, so you want to have your eyes open.
You picked up on that at an early age.
But I didn't see it as like, Michael Caine of like you're losing your power, so now I'm going to do that as well.
Right.
The other thing with me, though, is I move my neck a lot. I move my head. My head's a little like a bobblehead. And it adds to my comedy, for sure. But now I'm trying to, when I go in and read for 1 hour or anything dramatic,
you try to hold it still, yeah.
I just move. I don't move my head. In fact, less movement at all, because there's so many people on television that really what they want is you walk in, hit that mark, and say the lines as fast as possible, because it's a 1 hour that we're cramming an hour and a half of dialogue into 1 hour.
Absolutely. I was noticing. I'm like, why is everyone talking so fast?
Oh my God, yeah. The worst one is that Creech. What's that show? Scandal. I don't know if you watch Scandal. My wife watches it on the iPad next to me in bed. She's done watching. That was like a year and a half ago or whatever, but she binge watched the whole thing. And I was trying to sleep, and I'm like, who are these people on cocaine in my bed?
Yeah. They're talking about the perp, and they put their picture on the window thing, right? And they're like talking about, Actually, I first picked up on that when my friend was on the show Gilmore Girls in like 1999. It just started. And they were saying Amy Sherman Palladino brought in like a coach to kind of like speed up everyone's dialogue. She wanted the dialogue to be fast, like super fast. And that's kind of like what the show's kind of been known for now. So I just thought that was interesting. Like that was kind of the first time I heard that. And I was like, well.
Yeah, no, everybody talks fast on everything nowadays. It's like, but I mean, with exceptions, I'm saying it's refreshing actually when, and I'm talking fast right now, but it's refreshing when you see an actor who is got a different cadence and is slower or whatever. Right. But that's rare now. Hey, that guy's taking his time. He's letting it breathe. But they don't give you the time anymore,
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Ever since your film, what was it? Better Luck Tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was a very fast. Your film started it all. It was just every negative thing.
They started putting Asians in movies, right?
Yeah, that alone was enough. I was like, how many? I was like, what is this? A movie about martial artist translators? I go, what is this movie about? They're a group of martial artist translators. That's going to be funny. You're like, what am I, a martial artist or a translator? You're both. Martial artist translator.
We have come so far.
You're like, yeah, I had to skim to page 50. I only look at the action for parentheses of Asian 26 or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know as soon as I see the word Asian in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's your ethnicity? Are you Chinese?
I am Chinese.
And how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're getting mistaken for Japanese a lot more than Chinese? Do you feel like you're not North Korean, but Korean?
I get mistaken for Japanese a lot.
Because you're a little because you have an olive skin to you. You know what I'm saying? Your teeth.
Mm-hmm. And I have a double eyelid.
Double eyelids. I don't know.
You know the double eyelid. That there's some Asians that for a while would take surgeries to try to give themselves a double eyelid to make them look a little bit more Caucasian. So, and Japanese people have double eyelids, so that's why I think subconsciously people think I'm Japanese.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Double. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I already have one. You're saying, right?
Yeah. You've got one. You're good.
I have no idea what the hell's that about. But you know what? My daughter and my son don't. They've got the single eyelid, but I think they're growing out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they just had a lot more as children. Now that their faces are growing, now the eyelids are coming out or whatever. But everyone always asked if my wife was Asian, right?
Really?
Yeah, because you've never met my kids, right?
No, I haven't.
Creech, did you meet my kids, Creech?
Yes. Well, I've met your son. I've never met your daughter.
Oh, yeah. You met my daughter, yeah. So when they were younger, like 0 to 5 years old, everyone's like, "Oh, is your wife Asian? Is your wife Asian? What's her ethnicity?" And I was like, "No, she's Italian." I go, "Oh, well, the kids sort of look Asian." I was like, "Thanks, whatever, right?" But here's the thing: I did in vitro fertilization. You know, I basically was tasked with putting my manhood in a little plastic cup, right, and bringing it to the doctor's office. And I did the deed, and I rushed it over to the doctor's office and the front desk. I go, "Hi, I'm, here for. I got to turn this in." And she said, "Yeah, I'll go down to the end of that hall right there and knock on that last door over there." So I go down to the end of the hall, I knock on the door, and this Asian guy cracked open the door. And I go, "I was told to give you this," and he went, "Oh, yeah. And he took the cup, and he just slammed the door. Like he only cracked it up for me to, right? And then 9 months later, I get this kid, and everyone's going, "It kind of looks Asian. Like, is your wife Asian?" I go, "No, but the guy that I hid in my cup come to was."
Wow.
Wow. I'm like, and I always keep going, and everyone's like, you don't think it's his. I was like, I don't know, but I go, but the upside is he was a doctor in Beverly Hills, so that's good genius. I'm cool with it.
Wow, there's a movie in that.
Could be.
Right?
You never know. I know from the personalities that they're my kids are so jerky. They're just the biggest assholes in the world that I know their mind. I'm really convinced their mind now. It's really comforting.
Yeah, okay.
It's really comforting. They have a lot of my assholes. So now, how did you get involved with the Hatchet franchise?
It was one day in 2004, and that day I happened to have a lot of auditions. I mean, I'm not one of those actors that I'm hopping to this audition. I usually have one, and that's it. This one I had 4 in that day, and they were all paced out. I had one in the morning, and I brought this lunch, and then just so that I would be able to just start driving all over. And then by the time the Hatchet one was the very last one of the day, and the casting director had put the her own address on there, so I went to her place, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "That's what's on the sheet here." And she's like, "Oh no, it's at So I was already late to the Hatchet audition. At that point, I was so flustered. I was kind of out of my head. I wasn't worried. "Oh, I need this. I want to get this job." I kind of fuck it. I've had a long day. I don't care. I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. And usually that ends up being good. When you are not thinking about it and you don't care. And that's what happened. And I just kind of just did it. And the response, it was the scene that I did. If you've seen it, it's when my character is driving the boat and he slips. He has this New Orleans accent, and then he slips, and you hear his Asian accent come out, and he's cursing in Chinese because things are not going right on the boat, and people aren't taking the tour seriously. And as soon as I switch accents, the whole room laughed so loud that it took me by surprise because I never had gotten a response like that. It's usually polite laughter. This was genuine, and it kind of threw me off. I'm like, "Whoa, what's
just a room of racists?" So you're saying it's a room of racists?
Exactly. Yeah.
Laughing at.
Yeah. And so
look, we make fun of 2 accents
yep.
in one scene. This is great.
He's great. But yeah. So and then and then when I went back for the callback, I did want to change up the accent because the guy said he's from Boston. So I did a Bostonian accent. I switched it up, and all immediately dead silence. I was like, because you say he's from Boston, and and trying to switch things up. We always hear the Asian accent. And he said, "Could you just do it the way you did it?" Because this time the producers were in the room, so they wanted to say, "Hey, this guy's funny. This is you're gonna love it." But then I did totally something what you're not supposed to do is do something different.
You changed, and you got the callback, and you changed how you did the audition.
Because again, I had more time to think about it and be like, I just did better tomorrow. This progressive film for Asian Americans, I can't do something like this.
Right.
And so it made me kind of like, okay, this is where I start, hopefully changing things from the inside, which eventually I was able to, because that's how in the Hatchet movie in the end cut, when I got at the end, he loses his Asian accent, and it not only milks the joke for one more beat, but he keeps in mind that this guy's a con artist, and you don't know what he is. Maybe in the end, when he dies, he has an Irish accent, It's like, oh my God, he was Irish all along, But then, so that's kind of how the whole switching accents came about. And Adam was totally open to it, which to his credit, he could have just said, fuck you, we'll hire someone else to do it,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And now, did you wear the same thing, or do you wear the same thing for the callbacks? Like, if you go, and it doesn't even matter if it's a regular, like, hey, like most of the time I wear the jeans and a T-shirt or something, or a button-down shirt. I don't tend to like if it says guy in a business suit, I'm not going to wear a business suit because I might have other things going on that day. But sometimes I might. So, if it's a TV show, I do want to look lawyery or doctory, I will dress nicer than I normally dress.
Right. Yeah. I usually dress to suggest, the thing, but I don't. But I got to tell you this: the one time I did say, you know what, I was going out for this hospital thing, right? And and I always have an issue with like people that wear lab coats to auditions. I'm come on, man. They don't have a freaking imagination to imagine a fucking lab coat.
And then, though. But at the same time, they don't.
Yeah, but as I told you before, I'm on General Hospital, so I had an audition after work, so I already was in my lab coat, so I just borrowed it from wardrobe, and I went into the audition, and I booked it. So I was like, damn it.
Damn it, doesn't work. Hi, Terry, we got one, you're a gorilla, and the next one, you're a male erotic dancer, and you're like, oh, no. It's like all of a sudden, it's like because you're like, it works. I'm dressing like the part all the time.
I know, yeah. I mean, I think it's just absurd that actors have to be freaking Carrot Top in their trunk, and you see them pulling out all these things. You're like, what the hell, man? Come on.
So my question was, though, this is one of the things I do is if I go in, whatever I'm wearing at that original audition, and then if I have a callback, then I wear that same thing,
Yeah, I try to keep everything the same, right? As much as I can, and not change the dialogue anymore that I did that got me in the room in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah, for that one time, change the accent completely. And then the other thing is I hold on to my side after I'm done the audition until I know I didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? I basically, whatever I've worked.
Because you've written all these notes on it, you don't want to have to do that all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm cheap, and I don't even want to print paper again. So, but I was just like, but here's that thing of like, how long do I hold on to this? You know what I mean? When do I throw this away? I'm sure there's people that keep them all, but I fold mine up in my pocket, so it's always like a little four square, and I just leave it in my car. And then eventually when I'm cleaning out the car, that like once every couple of weeks, I'm like, oh, let me get some of the stuff off the floor of the car here. And it's like, then I throw them out. I go, did I get a call on this? They must have.
Same here. And sometimes I will look at it and I'm like, when did I do this?
Well, and then so in the first movie you die. And what's your name? What's the name of your character in the first Hatchet?
Sean.
Then in the second movie you play how were you brought back? Because you're not Sean anymore.
In the first movie, I referred to my brother got me this touristy gig, and so it's established I have a brother. So I inceptioned Adam when he was thinking of doing this, when it was a possibility of a second. I'm like, he said he had a brother, so I'm just saying. And
oh, nice. Now,
so
was that something? Did he already write that in there, or did you kind of come up with that? And was that an insurance policy that one of you guys even thought about? It was like, hey, wait a second, I mentioned I had a brother. This is great that we can, was it organic?
I just mentioned it. I don't think it was ever kind of an established thing. And then, we worked well together. So he always tries to find ways, feasible to bring people back to work with them. So it just worked out that, he would have a character looking for his brother the next day because he was missing. So
right.
just might as well use me again. And I shaved my head and grew a goatee out just to look different. And so we went off with that, and I bite the dust in 2 as well.
Okay, so then 3, what happened?
And then 3, I just pop out on the paramedic boat. You see, everyone's coming on Honey Island Swamp, and they're looking at the aftermath, and then I get off the paramedic boat, and you see it's me, and it's never explained. Only until Victor Crowley in the beginning that they mentioned a possible explanation that the audience it's kind of hidden in there, but it's kind of alluded to what the relation might be.
Well, no, say it. What is it?
So Victor Crowley takes place 10 years after the 3rd movie, and he is the only survivor. And he's on this talk show, and they said a lot of people think that you did. He's like the O.J. Simpson of the world right now, because they think how convenient that you're the only one to survive this massacre. And then they say that kind of like the smoking gun is that his DNA is on 2 of the victims, which are the 2 Asian people, me and the other me. So it alluded to that he was maybe separated at birth from his other brothers, and he's definitely related, but he has no idea. He's just like, but he definitely shares some genetic material.
Got it. So in the 3rd one, there really is no effort to be made to tie you to the previous incarnations of, the other 2 brothers.
No.
It's just, at that point, it was like Adam's like, screw it, you're established, you're in.
Exactly, yeah.
You're always coming back. It doesn't matter if you're,
And I just threw out a suggestion when we were doing this 4th one. I was like, maybe you should just, don't say that it's exactly a connection, but it's kind of odd to like ground it a little bit in reality that how come all 3 of the Asian people in this universe look exactly the same?
Yeah. It should be a thing where maybe in 5 or 6, if you live through 4, well, no, it doesn't even matter if you live in Victor Crowley. For anyone
there's a way. I'll find a way.
Let's not just spoil anything for people that haven't seen it, so we'll kind of talk around different stuff.
Yeah.
But it would be funny if in the 5th one that you basically play 12 characters. You know what I mean? That's exactly what you're saying is every Asian person looks like you in this world. And it's finally revealed that that's what Asian people look like in this story.
Yep, in the inverse,
The taxi driver, the hotel guy, you know what I mean?
And then the lead character will be like, I guess they all look the same.
Yeah, exactly. and then you're playing you, and you go, I look nothing like that guy.
How can you say that?
It's like he clearly, he's 2 inches taller. We could put some like different shoes on you and stuff.
Right.
You like thicker and like, put a heavy suit on you and stuff. So like it's just your face. It looks the same.
Right.
Oh man, that's funny. Have to pitch that. You pitch that to Adam, all right? Because he won't listen to anything I say.
All right.
So now, so basically, Victor Crowley is technically Hatchet 4. It is a
right.
It's a continuation of that universe.
Yeah.
It's a continuation of the universe. If you've seen any of the Hatchet movies, this is just a continuation of the universal storyline of Victor Crowley, the Honey Island Swamp massacres, and everything else. So if you like those films, you're going to love Victor Crowley. There's a lot of great performances in it, starting with you, but Laura Ortiz is in it. She's great. Felissa Rose is in it. She's great. Brian Quinn from or Q, so to speak, from Impractical Jokers. He's really good in it. There's so many good performances. It's
Mr. Dave Sheridan.
I know I can't talk about myself, but just look at the reviews, people. Look, you'll
you'll see that Dave steals the show.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you about those reviews in a second. I should probably. I wish I had them out on my phone. Creech, you buy Creech?
Yes.
Are you by your laptop?
I'm not.
Oh, don't worry about them. I was going to see if you could look up a couple of the reviews because, and I'm going to get to that in a second. I just want to pitch the Victor Crowley thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, all the reviews I've read have been, positive, and I saw it, and it's good.
I know, but there's a couple that I've read that one guy pretty much stalks me as like my next lover, and then I was so high on life. I was like, this is awesome. I can't believe this. This is the greatest review I've ever seen about me in my life. Then I clicked the next one, and it said, everybody's great in it except for Dave Sheridan, who's too old and tired looking for the role. Oh, yeah. So
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't still have all of them. There was the next one.
Okay. I thought you meant that. I thought that you meant that it was the same guy, and you clicked on his Twitter feed and like.
No. It was just a different. Another. I call.
Oh right, yeah. And you're like, how can it be so polar opposite, right?
Right. Because it's an opinion, and everyone has them. I call them opinions because the fact of the matter is, we've all grown up watching film and TV, so every single one of us can tell you what you think of a film and review it. Right. Really, even growing up, didn't you always think that film critics are like, what? Wait a second. Like Roger, what was that guy's name? Roger Ebert. Sort of like, what do you make, Valley of the Dolls or something like that? It's like you're not Hitchcock. I would say Martin Scorsese could sit and have a show and he could pick apart a film for me, and I'd be like, okay, got to respect that guy's opinion.
Right.
But seriously, what are these people like at Geek World and horrorbones.com and these guys sitting in Indiana? It's like, I'm not going to get ruffled over what they say, even though what's so funny is you can pick and choose and go, that horrorworld.world, he knows what he's talking about. Bloodyworld.com, no way. That guy's an asshole. But even though they're on the same street in Indiana and they're buddies, I'm telling you, horrorworld.com.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, you got to take the good and bad with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah, exactly. And throw in some pepper there. But here's the thing. Victor Crowley, it's on VOD right now. It's available at Best Buy. It's available at Walmart. It's available on iTunes. And quite frankly, I hate to say this, I know a lot of you people out there are probably just going to go, I'm going to see if it's on BitTorrent. Well, by the way, I looked and it is. I was already at my friend's house, and they have a pretty unique setup where a giant TV that is basically plugged directly into the pirate market, and they're like, "Oh, look, Victor Crowley," and I was like, "Oh, great, thanks."
Jeez,
and they said less than 24 hours it was up on the dark web. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's why Adam toured it for a month just to show it.
Yeah, they were telling me. Yeah, they were going, dude. I go, oh man, I'm gonna call Adam right now, and they go, don't do it. It's gonna kill him. And I go, not really, dude. He knows. He already knows that as soon as this thing was released, it's done, and that's why he did that live tour to try to, at least protect it for some amount of time.
Yeah.
This film is great. How do you feel about it? You like it or what?
Yeah, it's kind of, it sounds like it's self-serving, but it's my favorite one of the bunch. I feel like the tone of the comedy and the horror just blend really well together. It's like an equal balance, where it was off on some, in the previous ones. I mean, it's the closest one probably, I think, to the first one in terms of the feel, and that's kind of like what kind of kickstarted this whole thing off, and the fun level of it.
I like it. I'm not going to give the plot away, but I like it. Would I respond to the film? And look, the film's good. The film's great. I enjoyed it. I've seen it like 5 times because I went to some of those road tour screenings, and it does. Once it gets going, it is fast and to the point, and it keeps you entertained. So it's exactly what it's supposed to be. A great popcorn movie with some moments, some moments, and some like that was hilarious moments. It's a fun ride. But on a personal note, in terms of filmmaking and my, the films I've worked on, it's up there with definitely my top 3 or 4 films ever as being worked on because of just, getting to know you and the other actors and stuff and actresses, it was a really fun ensemble, and that doesn't happen that much. It really doesn't, because I've done this at least 25 years or whatever.
Right.
And it comes along every now and then, and I think what really catered to that was the fact that the majority of the movie, not all of it, but there was a majority of the movie that was shot in a sort of contained element. And I don't want to give it away.
Right.
But I mean, maybe we could give that away because of the freaking poster. It sort of already gives.
Yeah, we know we're in the plane.
Yeah, okay. and the trailer's already out.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, about like at the end of the first act, the plane crashes, and we're trapped in the sinking plane in a swamp, and he's trying to get at it, Victor Crowley, and it's sort of like it's like Safe Room or whatever that one was. Who was it? Jodie Foster. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But it was more like Angry Nets. It was more like a play. It was more like we didn't bounce around and go, oh, I'm not shooting this day, and you're not shooting this day, and I didn't see you all. Oh, I finally saw you. I didn't see you for 5 days, and you did other scenes. We all did the scenes together, and it was really, that to me just was fun. You know what I mean? It was more like, okay, this is our tree fort we built out in the woods, except it's a sinking plane. But you guys really go hang out in that tree fort?
Yeah.
And
it's tough when you have so many different people. You got different personalities. You got different work styles and different work ethics. And what it all kind of came to me when I realized kind of like, wow, this is really special, was especially the last day when we were like, it was sort of, we were sort of like losing pages, like we were like, okay, we'll pick up the page the next day, and then it kept accumulating. And the last day we had to shoot like something like 30 pages, which usually you shoot like 10, so we had to do like triple that before the sun came up, and then that was it. It was now or never. So I remember it was like kind of like no bullshit. We kind of just knocked it out, and it was like amazing. Everybody pulled their weight, did what they had to fucking do, and it was amazing. And nothing was sacrificed either in terms of like, good enough, let's move on. It was like, okay, you nailed it, let's move on. It was amazing, and that only can come together, in a certain manner,
Exactly, yeah. Well, that's the thing, is because we were in this location and kind of trapped in that thing, we really did rehearse it a lot in terms of, like we all were like, hey, we're going to go get on that miserable wet plane. We're going to be 2 feet in water, cold water. We're going to lose light in a little while. Actually, we're going to lose dark in a little bit. We got to get this done. And it was like, do you want to rehearse? Yeah, let's rehearse. We had it, our thing was like, before we got on there, it's like, let's get our tops and bottoms, man. Let's get right on all our cues. Let's just nail this and have Jan, the camera guy, just be able to swing that camera back and forth and have it be like a play. And it was really out of necessity, but it was also that none of us wanted to letting each other down.
Totally, yes, yeah.
But I also felt like that night, really quick, I really felt like for some reason the sun stayed down an extended hour. It just felt like, you know what I mean? It was like, usually it was like 5:30 that it was like, guys, 5:30, 5:45 is like, nah, we can't shoot anymore. There's light coming through that window now. You know what I mean? But hold on to it.
Maybe.
It felt like it was funny. And I don't want to say where we shot the movie, but we shot the movie, in an area that was remote towards the commuting. It was reverse commuting. And so when we would get wrapped in the morning, we were getting on the road. We just shot all night, and we were getting on the road with people waking up, rushing to work. And the road we had to take to get out of that swamp, you know what I mean? And people were going like 90 miles an hour on roads they knew. And I'm like, I don't really know this road that well, and I just kind of have to wait, you know what I mean? I'm ready to pass out.
Yeah.
It was so funny. But, so yeah, well, I know there's plans to do another one. I'm not going to give anything away, but I can't wait to see the next one because I know you're going to be in it, dude. You are. Between you and Caine, it's hard to say who is the Hatchet franchise at this point.
Hopefully, the Asian duplicates will continue.
Creech, did you see the film?
Yes. Yeah, I got Dark Sky to send me a screener so I can watch it.
That's right. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on it?
I enjoyed it. I mean, basically, I feel the exact way Perry does. I feel it's one of the better. I mean, they're all good, but this one I feel really with the blending of comedy and horror was just on, just perfectly done. It was brisk. It didn't feel like there was any slowdown. It was just constantly go. And you didn't feel bogged down by anything. It was actually really good.
Nice. And then, so again, I'm gonna plug it one more time. It's Victor Crowley. It's on VOD. It's on Amazon. I think you can buy the DVD. Best Buy, Walmart. DVD, Blu-rays are available. iTunes rental, and eventually Netflix. I don't know about Redbox. I didn't hear any mention of Redbox. I can't imagine it's not going to be in Redbox.
Yeah.
You think it won't be, huh? It's not
No, I didn't hear anything, but I mean, I'm sure we'll hit the traditional, places.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to buy that many. Redbox can buy as little as like 20,000 and put one. Instead, it won't have 5 in each one. It might have 1 in each little box, So, I don't know. I don't pay attention to Redbox. Is that still a viable thing? Or is that now really, really thinning out? Anybody?
I haven't used it in forever.
Market has one.
I drive by them.
Yeah. We all rip off movies, huh? Okay, got it.
No, I never visit torrent sites because I'm afraid what it might do to my computer. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna risk it, man.
I don't do it either. I get my friends to just send me stuff though if I want something. I say, hey, I always play dumb like to just go to the Pirate Bay, type the thing in, third thing down, hit download. I go, no, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
No, it's not working. I go, can you just buy me this? I need this for my clip reel. Because I do get them to get me some of my films and stuff. Because even if I have them on DVD,
you can't.
Some of them, they're protected where I can't figure out how to get it on my computer. So it's easier for ask my tech friends just to get me something off of the internet, and then I can cut it together for a reel.
Right.
But now, and what else is going on, Perry? Do you have any kind of social media? Are you on Twitter, Facebook? What do you like?
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and just my name. It just needs to be spelled correctly. Parryshen.
Yeah. Now, what's up with that? Why did your parents I've never met another Perry. But I guess maybe
they literally picked it out of a book, and not a book like a novel, like a baby name book, and that's what they did.
Well, that's cool. Well, something they like. I don't know how. I don't remember how I named my kid. I really forget. I know that I had a bunch of names, and then we threw them in a hat. And we picked it out. You know what I mean? Once she came out, and my kids came out, I was like, boom. How many kids do you have? Any?
I got two daughters.
How old are they?
Well, they're going to turn 10 and 13 in March.
Oh, man. Okay, your kids are the same age. I'm 12 and 10. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're in the same boat. No doubt. Enjoy, but you got 2 daughters. At least I only have 1.
Yeah.
You got to go through that twice.
I know.
My daughter's just hitting it. It's like she was always a little sassy, but now it's like, you don't tell me what to do, and I'm my own. I'm like, because girls definitely want to be more independent. They are, they're ready to run the world.
Right.
And boys just, my son just wants to stay in his underwear all day and eat cereal. So he's not going anywhere. I have a guy that's going to be a lawn worker and you got to keep. Here's the thing: you don't want both of your kids to be overachievers. Now you're gonna have to pick one, Perry, because you have to have one that kind of lags around in nearby home or even leaves in your house for a long time. Because somebody's got to wipe your butt and feed you when you're 90. Okay. So you got to kind of say, look, one of them's got to be a little bit of a clinger on her. They call them a mamula. My son's a mamula, which is the, that's like the boy that lives at home forever. You know what I mean? So,
looks like I might have to adopt a kid then, a boy specifically.
That would be a good idea too. Just line up. Yeah, don't go for like a kid that has potential. Go to the adoption clinic and look for that one lazy kid. The kid it's like, all right, everyone, go stand on the line, and Harry's gonna pick you out. Look for the one that's still lying down.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. That's the one I want.
The one who doesn't approach me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I want that one. Doesn't look like he's gonna run off too far. I need that kid. He's gonna be divvying out my pills, my cholesterol medication. I need someone to take me to my doctor's appointment.
You just reminded me. I do have to take my cholesterol medication.
I didn't know Asians had high cholesterol.
Yeah, man. My dad had it bad, so he gave it to me.
What do you have anything else you want to plug right now? What's up? You got anything upcoming or something?
I'm back on General Hospital, and my sister is adopting a baby, so that's kind of like this current storyline going on right now.
We were just talking about that. Bring that into play. Talk to her. Lazy kid.
Okay. Yeah.
Done. I can't wait to see it. I want a little bit of money.
That way, it'll guarantee me being on the show when I'm old, so then it can take care of me when I'm old.
Exactly. And they'll even have the flashback episode when you decided to get the lazy kid.
Good idea. And then I did this movie with Bria Grant that I'm excited.
Cool. We love
that she co-wrote, and it's a really smart script. It's a time travel thing, but it's still kind of like under wraps. So eventually that'll come out.
I know. It's probably really great, but when you said smart script and time travel, it's like whoever invents time travel is going to be dumb as shit. You know it. So there's no smartness in that. No, that was just a joke. That was a joke. I'm not bashing. I was bashing on time travel being like smart. Like it's like that. That isn't going to be anybody of intelligence that understands that. That's cool. But you think time travel movies are expensive? So what makes it smart is probably you guys, I'm sure, did it on a manageable budget, right?
Absolutely,
so,
and
it's not Back to the Future.
There's literally 3 actors in the whole movie, so it just had to be scripted really well, and it I think pulls it off. So I was really excited to do something small, but it makes it seem big too.
That's cool. Now, were you friends with her? How did you book that one?
That one, she had actually saw Victor Crowley. She was at the premiere screening, and they've been looking for a character. And she said, hey, he looks like he could be your husband. So I got it from that. But also, we have the same friends in circles. Like everyone I know has been talking about her name, and been like, so we should have met like years ago. So it's just kind of weird that we just have never crossed paths, but she's heard my name, I've heard her name, so it was just kind of cool that that we finally were able to work on this together and meet each other.
That's awesome. So is there a schedule for that to be finished, come out? Are they going to do the film festival circuit?
I don't know. We finished shooting it literally a couple weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and almost the same schedule pace as Victor Crowley too. It was with 3 actors, so it was a lot of dialogue. It was like insane.
Cool. You good with that though? You like a lot? I don't like a lot of dialogue.
It was a lot, but I mean it had to be done. So usually I put these little post-it tabs of like where I have stuff in the script, and literally the whole script had post-its throughout every single page. I'm like, why am I even bothering doing this?
Yeah, it's like I'm carrying around a post-it tab with post-it tabs.
Yeah.
I have a purple script. I don't know why my script is purple.
Yeah, so pretty much I'm prepared early on, like a week beforehand, but I was like, I can't keep this all in my head. I said, literally, just tell me what we're shooting tomorrow, and I can just triage it and just do that, because I can't handle any more,
Right. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to shift gears here. Creech.
Yes.
I've left you out a little bit. You know what I mean? I didn't want to completely, I tend to do it anyway, monopolize the question. Have I left off anything? Do you have anything of questions for Parry here that I might have stumbled over?
Actually, I do. We were talking about it before you came on the on the call, but it was pertaining to his role in Sleeping Dogs, which honestly, like I told him when we first got on, I didn't even know that he did the voice for a character called Winston Chu in the game. With Winston, I mean, this game's been out for a little while, so I don't think they'll mind the spoilers. But I've actually still never completed that game because when you get to the mission where your character dies, I was just devastated. I was just like, because the writing in the game's phenomenal. Like, and when Winston gets killed on his wedding day, I was like, oh, that sucks. and I still have never finished the game.
Dave, to keep you get to speed, the game is basically this undercover cop that goes into the triads, and so he tries to infiltrate it from within, and I play the main kind of like boss mafia guy, and first he's like ruthless, but then you end up becoming really good friends, so the cop starts becoming conflicted, like he's really likes these guys because he's getting to know them on a personal level, and then my character ends up having a big wedding, and then there's like this big shootout, and my character gets killed and dies, and he never knew that the main character was an undercover cop, which I felt that it would have been a really cool ending if he found out about that betrayal. You know what I'm saying? It would like crushed his heart, and then they would have this big fight, and then he would, kill me, and but yeah, that death scene, a lot of people have been like, no, and then people like, I've read reviews, on YouTube where like, on that scene, they're like, I cried, during this scene. So yeah, it was, the reason why I love that project is because that was the first time I got to play a bad guy, because it doesn't matter what I physically looked like, all I had to do was put on the voice, and it was the first time that I could, it didn't matter what I looked like, what my height was. I would never be able to do that live camera, because I'm just look more boy next door, so it's really, really fun.
Your face is too nice. Your face is too fat.
Yeah.
They'd like start giggling or something. You'd be like, I'm fucking serious. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I did the mocap too. So like when I'm like threatening people, it's hilarious because when you see the behind the scenes, I'm threatening this guy who's like almost like a foot taller than me, but in the game it's reverse. I'm taller than him,
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, and I'm kind of impressed that in Creatures moves, and you've heard other people, because I don't play games, but I sit and watch them. I watch those games, and I don't know which one I was just watching yesterday. I forget which one it is, but it was a hacker one. There's a hacker one.
Oh, Watch Dogs.
That's what it was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like 2 hours watching Watch Dogs. My friend play Watch Dogs. You know what I mean? I just watching them. I'm like, all right, cool. Okay, go there. And I just make fart noises and stuff like that. And I just like, it's like Mystery Science 3000.
Right.
I'm making, he never tells me to shut up or anything. He thinks it's funny too, but it's sort of like, I don't want to play a game, but I'll sit and watch it. It's cool to watch all the work that goes into it. Mm-hmm. But to hear that, like, you actually pulled off some emotional aspect to a video game, that's pretty damn cool. And my other question on that is, so wait, who kills you in that game?
The bad guys, the competing gang, they just shoot out my wedding.
So is that video game based on the movie that The Departed was based on? Because there was an Asian movie that The Departed basically remade.
Kind of, yeah. It has those kind of like the sensibilities of like a betrayal and like trying to infiltrate, and then you end up, totally, yeah, it's very much like that, I would say.
Right, because what's it called again? Which one's that called?
The Asian one, what, the game?
Yeah, the game is called.
The game is called Sleeping Dogs. And
what was the Asian movie that The Departed?
It was called Infernal Affairs, and then the remake that Scorsese did was The Departed.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that movie then. Okay, yeah, I've seen the Asian one. I remember a couple scenes now from it. Got it. So that's cool, yeah. And you did the Michonne video game, you're saying?
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, have you seen the show? Are you a fan of the show at all?
Yeah, totally. I'm that's the only show that kind of like I've seen. I'm up to date with everything.
Right. Hey, Creech, when does it come back? Like 3 weeks?
Yeah, around there. It's like February 20-something.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're gonna have a couple actors on right before that, or maybe maybe the week of.
Okay.
And maybe after the next episode. I know I have a couple actors on the current season that we can, tap into and chat about. How do you feel about that show right now, Parry? Like, where do you feel currently? Like, I felt like it jumped the shark quite a few episodes, not episodes, but seasons ago. I still love to watch it, but it's a different show than what, obviously it's evolved.
Definitely. Yeah, it's yeah, I think they're drawing the whole Negan situation a little longer than I would like.
Right.
Because when he first came out, he was just like terrifying, you know. And now I think when you see too much of it, it loses that impact, you know.
Sure. There you go. That's a great point of watching too much of anybody. Overexposure, you know, even that's overexposure in a fictional way.
Yeah.
Overexposure works the same way where there's actors that are out there too much on social media, being involved in too many other aspects of their own personal lives that they shouldn't be making public. You know what I mean? Because that's why I watched this documentary. I think it was I think it might have been Jim Carrey talking in that Man on the Moon documentary or whatever. But, you know, he was saying, like, and that's why he's pretty much talking now, because he's kind of done. You know what I mean? Like, Jim Carrey is not the same Jim Carrey of way back when. He's no longer going to be this guy starring in movies, you know, the way he did. And so now he's kind of saying, okay, I can expose a little bit about myself a little bit more, because he felt like his job was to be a blank slate more than anything else, so that when you go and see a movie, you're buying into his character. You're buying into, since he was doing comedy, you didn't want to know that he's a bitter guy that didn't like the government, or that he wanted to go and march in some parade against something. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, that would take away from you being able to sit down. And you knew it wasn't like, I want to make sure I protect my ticket sales. That has a little bit to do with it. But at the same time, he was like, I don't want the audience to sit down when I'm playing a character to also go, oh, he's really after, you know, global warming. You know what I mean? Like, really an activist on that. And, you know, and it can take you out of enjoying the movie and just kind of making it easier for you to dive into his character.
Right.
So I think that's one of the things that's happening with social media, and what's happening with this overexposure of all our personal, like just right now, like you and I chatting on a freaking podcast for no reason, and then putting this out there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Wait, stop. We got to stop.
We are the problem.
Yeah, wait a second. How did I become the problem? Anyway, with that, we should just leave that. Yeah, I think we should. We've taken up enough of your time, and you've been an awesome guest. Thank you for coming on our show.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Parry, for coming on. That was really enlightening, actually. I love it when someone comes on and really gives us the details, fills in the blanks of how they got somewhere, how, you know, to start a career, and for him to go to business school like that and take a business perspective into the business of show business, because it's show and business, and that shows you that you have to be serious when you want to do a business, and this is a business. So that's why he's successful, and now I'm going to take a little bit from that. It was almost like listening to one of those, like, Anthony Robbins, you know, whatever
seminars,
self-help
right?
tapes. You know?
Yeah. We had a nice little seminar this week. Very educational.
And it's kind of funny because it seems like Andrew Young, he seems like one of those guys that would do one of the self-help seminars too. You know what I mean? He just has that look of, not only is he going to tell me how to make it in Hollywood as an actor, but he's also going to tell me how to, you know, buy real estate with no money down.
You can make a ton of money on the side. Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. All right, well, another good show. Thanks for having me too, Creech. And I'm going to chime in on the next one. We're going to have Caine Hodder up with your daughter next week, and I want to, I'll just come in and do the ins and outs, and you can play that recording from the previous interview. You ran into him at what? What was the
Days of the Dead Atlanta?
Oh, okay, great. Can't wait to get back on next week. All right, I'll chat with you later, man.
All right, man.
Shut up and sit down. Thank you for listening to the Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.